Okay, so today I'm going to talk about an issue that was kind of big a few years ago. Well, it became big a few years ago, and it's still a pretty big issue today. And it's about a certain group of people, and we all see them every day, sometimes in the park, at the mall, at school, in your classroom, in the movies, and sometimes in TV shows. Talking about those fashionably fabulous people known as gays. Some of you may have them as friends or best friends. Some of you may not care what they look like or who they are. But just because you don't know or don't care about them, gays around the world, primarily here in the U.S., and even more primarily in California, are being discriminated pretty badly and denied rights that all people should have. So today, I'm here to give you an unfabulous view of the discriminations of gays in their marriage, in parenting, in their lifestyle, and why it is wrong to discriminate against them. But before I get into these topics, I'm going to give you a short story about one of my friends, because he kind of ties into all of my topics today. So my friend in elementary school, his name was Jerome. He was one of my really good friends. We hung out together. He was a grade below me. We did choir, we did sports together. And then in high school, I met up with him again, and he ran cross country with me. He did wrestling with me. His sophomore year, like out of nowhere, he just came out and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gay." And everybody was like, "What the heck, you're kidding?" Because he was just like it's like he was like any kid like in high school. There was nothing different about him. It's just one day he came out and he just said he was. Everybody accepted it, and I thought it was all cool because no one really made fun of him. This kid was one of the smartest kids at our school. He was a top athlete. But getting deeper into it, I talked with him a few days ago, and I was talking with him about this speech, and he kind of gave me more of an insight about how it affects him kind of behind the curtains. So first off, I would like to start off with the topic of gay marriage. And gay marriage was kind of a big topic a few years ago with Prop 8, and that was with the banning of gay marriage. And if you were gay, you were already married, your marriage would be annulled. And there were some pretty big concerns when it came to gay marriage, and I would like to get rid of some of those accusations. So first off, one of the big arguments was that marriage is an act that should be used for procreation and to keep the human race going as a whole. And that case kind of falls short of a big reason, because if this is the case, there are women and men who are infertile, or they might have some disease wrong with them where they aren't allowed or aren't capable of having babies, but these people are still allowed to marry. So why should they have the right when somebody else who has the same thing shouldn't be allowed to be married? Next is that, same-sex couples, because people don't really know, they think that they would not be an optimum environment to raise their children in. If this would be the case, and I'll get into more of it later in parenting, but there's still convicted felons that are allowed to be married. There's even child molesters that are allowed to be married. And if you think a gay family or gay parents aren't going to have an optimum child raising environment, how do you think someone who, went out and murdered a whole bunch of people, or, molested a whole bunch of children, and they're allowed to get married, how do you think optimum their environment's going to be? Lastly, we have about how gay marriage violates the holy institution of marriage. And this topic is based off the Bible, and the Bible is mostly up to interpretation. But first of all, freedom of religion in America gives us the right to practice any religion, as well as the right to have the freedom from religion. So if they're taking away the right to marry because the Bible says so, then they're taking away their freedom of religion anyway. So that's just taking away one of our basic rights. Even if the argument still stands that it's against the Bible and you still think that way and you interpret it literally, I kind of went into and kind of dug into some other things that the Bible bans, and some of these things that we do pretty frequently in our lives. There's in Leviticus, it bans shaving, eating pork, eating lobster. Ephesians bans gossip, and even in the Bible they say that you should be married with one person until that person the person dies, till death do you part. But people get divorces almost every day. I mean, people around the world get divorces almost every day. So, if you're going to take away someone's right because it's against the Bible, why are you giving people the right to divorce when that's also against the Bible? So, next I would like to get more into the parenting topic and how people are discriminated on that. So, people believe that gay parents should not be allowed to raise children on their own, and I'm here to tell you otherwise. Truthfully, kids who grow up in gay parent households do not do any better or worse than kids that grow up in a non-gay household. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette did an article about this, and they discussed how they interviewed two people that grew up in gay households. First, there was Rebecca Melkson, who was a college student. She had plans to earn a graduate's degree in public health, and then there was Terrence McGeorge, who was a high school degree graduate, and instead of going to college, he decided to work in AmeriCorps in a program called Beginning with Books to help better society. So these are just two people. They both grew up in a gay household, and they're living two normal lives as anybody else would be living. Both of them said that they were never pressured by any of their parents to be gay when they grew up. They actually did not know that their parents were gay until later in their lives. Terrence is gay now, but he never knew his father was until after he came out, and he also quoted, and he said that, "I never knew that my father was gay, but I started noticing that I was gay after I started having crushes on little boys. After I told my father, he came out to me and he told me he was gay." Rebecca is not gay. She has a boyfriend and is not pressured by her mom to do so. Gary Gates, who is a senior at UCLA, is also studying this matter, and he says that there is no direct comparison between same-sex parenting and bad parenting. So finally, I would like to go into lifestyle and how some people consider homosexuality not to be normal because it's different from how society is, and then they consider it to be a mental disorder or a health issue. And this is entirely not true. The American Psychological Association used to describe it as a mental condition, but it has officially been taken off the list because, according to them, in a direct quote, homosexuality per se implies no impairment in judgment, stability, reliability, or general social or vocational capabilities. Some say that their choices in life are against religion and that they are, going to burn in hell. Well, according to most other religions, if you believe a different religion, most likely you're going to hell. So, technically, in everybody else's eyes, everybody's kind of going to hell. When I was talking with Jerome, he kind of talked to me about these three issues, and he discussed that when Prop 8 happened, two of his sisters are lesbian, not with each other. They are, and one of his sisters was married, but because Prop 8 happened, their marriage got annulled, and they were no longer allowed to get married. With the parenting issue, he talked to me about how gay parents aren't allowed to adopt because of these reasons. They feel that if you are going to be adopted into a gay household, you're going to grow up, be pressured to be gay, and that's just not something that I guess society wants, so they're not going to let you adopt. And how they say that you're going to grow up and your kid isn't going to be as good as other kids. Well, I'm not saying, we all are going to college and stuff, but Jerome grew up in a gay household. He was phenomenal athlete, team captain, varsity captain with two teams. He got an academic scholarship to UCSB, and he's currently studying biology there. So he's just another one of those examples that, he grew up in a gay household, and he wasn't pressured, he didn't get forced into anything, and he grew up and he's still living a normal life. So I hope that today I have opened your eyes.